Oh, come on, everybody now. So, make me wanna believe, make me wanna sing. So, what's going on, guys? We're gonna think about reviews, and I am reviewing the most critically acclaimed, most watched film of, I believe it was 2004. Selma. It is all about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and that march for voting rights from Selma to Montgomery. And you know what? I'm going into this. I was really looking forward to this film. I heard a lot of good things about it. The cast. I gotta say one thing about this film. Fantastic job by David Olowa. Kind of butchering his last name there. It's really hard, but Mr. David portraying Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was fantastic in this film. I really liked his portrayal. He really brought it to his own. It's really hard to fill the shoes of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. If you've seen some of his speeches, you can see him online on YouTube. I know Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was one of the greatest public speakers of all time. He knew how to deliver a speech. He knew how to get the crowd going. I mean, public speaking, we had to learn about this guy and learn about his speeches. Hell, back in the day when I was in elementary school, I did a report on Martin Luther King Jr. And what I took away from it, this guy could speak, this guy could talk, and you saw that too in a lot of movements in the 90s. That's why I think I like Tupac Shakur a lot, because if you hear him speak, if you hear him rap, he has that same mentality of Martin Luther King Jr. Now, all the rest were really, really good in this film. I think Tim Roth was another shining spot of the cast, of the acting. He could be a little bit over the top, not too much like goofy over the top, but you know how he portrayed himself as being a dick. But he was really good. I thought Tim Roth was really good in this film. I thought a lot of people were really good in this film. The one thing I just gotta dismiss a little bit is, why is Oprah Winfrey in this film? Really, it kind of took me out of it a little bit when I said, "Is that Oprah?" And it was Oprah. But she wasn't in this film. She wasn't a big supporting cast member. I saw that she's got an award or a nomination for Best Supporting Actress. No, I like Oprah. I loved her in The Butler. I think she's a great actress. You see her in a lot. You see her in a lot of these types of films. I would like to see her in a little bit more. I think she was up for Wallace in the Suicide Squad. I would love to see what she would have done with that. But we have Miss Davis from The Help. I think she's gonna be perfect for it. But yeah, Oprah in this film, hardly any Oprah. So her getting that nomination for supporting actress, I mean, you could also say Anne Hathaway in Les Miserables. You could make that argument to it, but I really didn't think Oprah really added anything into this film. Her acting was, it was okay, it was good, like always, but it wasn't fantastic. I really think she did a better job in The Butler than this film. But it's not all about Oprah. It's about this guy, David, who played Martin Luther King Jr. I mean, the acting has to be really, really great for this guy, for this film to work. And him being Martin Luther King Jr. and him portraying him, it worked. When he spoke, when he did his speeches, I was really just like glued. And especially, I wanted to see more conflict between Martin Luther King Jr. and the Malcolm X relationship, because Malcolm X is like, the one who fights with force, while Martin Luther King Jr. was the one that fought peacefully. So I would have loved to see more of that relationship in this film. The director is Ava DuVernay, I believe. I don't know if that's a girl. I believe that's a guy. He directed this film so great. The direction, compared to what I watched last night, Taken 3, the direction was so good in here. The cinematography was well done as well. It was a well done film, overall film, acting, cinematography, direction, overall well done. Writing was good. Here, the problem with this film is the pacing. Now, this is going to be a much slower film, because it's going to rely on a lot of the acting. It's going to rely on a lot of them just talking about events before events actually happening. So the first maybe 45 minutes, 35 minutes of this film, it was slow. I was a little bit bored. As much as I like the acting, it was a little bit boring. There was a lot of moments in here that was very horrific. especially towards the very end. I think towards the very end, it really hit me. Really just seeing the brutality of what happened back in the day. In the beginning of the film, there was one scene that I was like, whoa, that took me by surprise. But them setting it all up and it just felt like the pacing was either in the beginning boring, and then towards the middle it started getting a little bit better, and then towards the very end you started really getting into it. But it's a very long movie. I think it was like 2 hours. It was a 2-hour movie. It really felt long. I really didn't get really interested until the movement started to happen, until they were beginning ready to march or getting things really set up. And learning a little bit, I want to learn a little bit more about Martin Luther King Jr.'s personal life. I think we got a little bit of it. We did get that big scene with him and his wife, and them discussing affairs and basically how she couldn't really handle what's going on around, but she's sticking with him. I mean, I didn't really feel that. I didn't really feel the weight that he had on his shoulders. I don't know why. I just didn't feel it in this film like I do in other films. But you know what? Once it hits that 35-minute mark and it really gets in gear where he's really, trying to push to get those voting rights, it starts getting a lot better. And there is a lot of imagery. There is a lot of brutality in this film that makes you. These kind of films piss me off because it deals with race and it deals with a lot of stuff that happened in the past, and you don't want to see it happen on the big screen, but you have to see it because even though we're trying to move forward as a whole world, because I don't believe in race. I have friends who are all different kinds of color, but I don't view them as any type of race. I view them as my friends, of what our interests are and what our non-interests are. Anybody who loves movies is okay in my book. But yeah, I mean, think as we move forward and we have a lot of controversy basically last year and this year going on around the world, we still need to remember what happened in the past. We don't have to always call forth of the past, but I think new generations need to learn what happened, movements, marches, speeches, political things happening. I mean, I think that's the problem with today's. It's ironic because they did use media to show the brutality that was happening back in the 1960s, but I think or 1950s. Sorry. I think nowadays, though, we don't have that. We don't have that one political person. We don't have that person who doesn't just do peaceful, protesting or does these marches that a figure really, so to speak. Like, I don't want to use it, but I'm going to use it. Hunger Games, like Katniss type deal. Not a revolution, but somebody who's talking for the people, by the people, and trying to make change for the better. Now we rely on internet. We all rely on social networking, and that's not the same of going out and doing something, but doing something peacefully and not trying to, do anything really. Not trying to do violence and have people be hurt or get hurt in the process. Back in the day, it had to be done by that way, so to speak, because there had to be sacrifices. If you're going to do a big movement like that, people are going to get hurt, and that's the weight of the shoulders I think Martin Luther King Jr. had in this film was dealing with, and in his personal life was people were getting hurt even though they were doing the things they were doing stuff for the right cause. So it's a very controversial kind of piece. I think there was some historical inaccuracies that they're pointing out. But overall, this film was really, really good. I just felt like the pacing was not there, and I was kind of bored somewhat of it, but I thought the acting was great, especially for David, who played Martin Luther King Jr. There's a lot of cameos in here, a lot of supported leads. I thought the cinematography was great. I thought the direction was great. I thought the editing was great. I thought the music was beautifully done to fit the tone. I thought I was going to get Common. Why is Common in this film? That's what I want. Why is Common in this film? Overall, this film was great. I just felt like it feels like after I got out, I wanted more. I wanted more of more of the weight that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. felt, because I didn't feel that weight on my shoulders. And I don't think they want me to, but it's definitely not a film that I think I would go back and watch. There's a lot of these type of films I want to go back and watch. It's definitely a film I recommend you watch, of course. But overall, I feel like there was something it just, I guess it was just the pacing that really got to me. But overall, it was a good film. I really enjoyed it towards when things started happening, when we saw a lot of sacrifices being made, when we saw a lot of internal conflict happening. So I thought it was a great film. I just didn't think it was the most amazing film out there. I mean, there's other films that I think I enjoyed more, like The Butler, and really had more of an impact was 12 Years a Slave. That really just kind of like, but by all means, if you're thinking about watching this film, go ahead and check it out, man. You're gonna watch it no matter what. I really recommend you watch this film. It does, like I said, it's a longer movie. It's very slower. People would probably get a little bit bored toward the beginning, but if I had to compare it to anything, I'd compare it to Lincoln. Lincoln was a long and slower movie, but the performances, the cinematography, direction was great in that film, and I think it goes the same to this film. It was a great overall. It was a great film. It was a great film towards that, after that 35-minute mark, where I thought it really just picked up and really just got going, and we really got to know a lot of things happening, especially Martin Luther King Jr. So yeah, highly recommend it, guys. If you don't want to see this, check out The Butler. It's out on DVD. I don't know if it's out on Redbox, but The Butler is another great movie with Oprah as a supporting actress and Forest Whitaker as the main actor. It's about the butler, and it's like a Forrest Gump type of deal going on there. And then you also have 12 Years a Slave. I think 12 Years a Slave is the movie that new generations need to see. They need to see that brutality. They need to see what the hell happened back in the day and learn that these were the mistakes that people made back in the day. Moving forward, there should just be equality. There should be no need to focus on race. There should just be to focus on the people. So I think 12 Years a Slave and The Butler are two great choices if you don't want to see Selma in theaters. But I encourage you. I recommend Selma. So it's all up to you guys. But Selma, I definitely agree. It was a really, really good movie. Just a few issues here and there, but very slower movie. But if you like those slower movies, if you like those performances, you'll like this film. So thank you guys for listening, and once again, if you like this video, please press the like button, please subscribe for more. And let me know your guys' thoughts on Selma and what you thought about the overall, if it was a little bit slower to your taste, or just let me know what you thought of the film. All right, guys, so once again, grab a seat, enjoy some good popcorn to eat. See you at the cinema. See you guys.